Freedom fighters, coming back at you with a Fireside Chat. Coming back from a little hiatus there. I missed the Friday night video. Got busy with a job from work, and then I caught a little bit of the fall sniffles, a little bit of the coof coming on. So, I was just kind of hanging out, and now I'm just back chilling. Figured I'd shoot a video on the fly back here, chilling with the fire pit. So yeah, obviously in the news there was a second attempt on Trump's life. Another person trying to play Assassin's Creed mission IRL. Crazy times, man, crazy times. And I haven't really looked much into it. Let me know your guys' opinions. I'm not sure if it's just more of the theater, if, this is the real deal, or, what. But it's definitely crazy, man. So while I was feeling down and out, I've been kind of spending time on the interwebs. And, I started watching just, animal videos, dogs and stuff. And recently, with those Trump comments about them eating the pets and everything, everybody's been posting videos of, like, animal abuse and people cooking up, cats and dogs. And I had to get away from that because, that'll piss you off and make you want to go John Wick. So I was like, nah, I can't watch this. And then I ended up, watching some, I don't know why it was on my feed, but a bunch of stuff about Easter Island. I don't know if they just dug up one of those, big head statues or something, but I saw a couple pictures and videos of that. And then I kind of got into the conspiracy theory, like ancient alien stuff, because they were like, how did they move these statues and all that. But that's not really what I want to talk about. I guess, then I ended up on Black Twitter. Oh boy. I don't know if you ever ended up there, but I came across this guy, Charleston White. I don't know if you ever heard of him. I've seen some of his, like, TikToks and some of his clips before. Some of his interviews and videos and stuff. But, this one, he was talking about, specifically about how blacks are on the Democrat plantation. So I kind of wanted to, like, touch on that, get your guys' opinion on how all that stuff is. He was going on about, like, how the Democrats are actually doing, the ones doing all this stuff. It's the Saul Alinsky tactics, or the rule for radicals. Blame your opponent for what you're actually doing and all this stuff. And he points out that, Dems are the party of slavery. And, that's a little deeper conversation than I want to get into. I know this is a thing that, they always they want to call out, and Republicans always do this. We're the party of Lincoln and stuff like that. Like the Lincoln Republicans, or that Lincoln Project, where every single one of them are truly leftists. They're not even, Republicans, they're rhinos. And Republicans love to play this message because it sounds good, right? Like, we're the ones who actually freed the slaves and all this. But, when you look at, the parties went through a role reversal throughout time. And, I've already, described my position on this, or talked about the Confederacy and the Civil War pretty much ad nauseum. My position on it all. But, as a proud rebel, I can, agree with the Southern cause. I can believe in Northern aggression, but also, disagree with slavery. But, if I was living back then, I would be a Southern Democrat, right? My positions mainly would be held as a Democrat. I view the Republicans of that time, Lincoln, as a tyrant. He used the federal government. He was levying taxes and using tyrannical measures against the South, and then ultimately stripped them of their rights and declared war against them, to the point where he used the federal government the army to attack citizens. So I don't have to agree with everything the South did and, be on their side with slavery or whatnot to still support them and realize that, the North was the aggressor. The same way as, I loathe, despise these modern Democrats. These aren't Democrats either. I mean, now you're just dealing with, uh, progressive Marxists, basically. But even though I despise them and have nearly nothing in common with them, I can still come to some common ground on some things. Some of their policies, I can agree with, but for the most part, not at all. But anyway, back on point about Charleston White and some of the stuff I was seeing on there, how he was talking about blacks are on the plantation. In one of his videos I saw, he said that he actually believes that blacks are going to be slaves again in this country because they're supporting pretty much uh, what led them there in the first place. I think he said it's even going to be worse. I think he said there's going to be like a genocide or something of blacks in this country. He thinks a race war is going to kick off because they're pretty much starting it. It's amazing how such a minority wants to pretty much kick off a race war. It's almost like they're asking for it, and they refuse to wake up to what this party's doing. And he said something about 1.2 where it's like you think the left is on your side, um, and just look at the people who run the left. Like it's these rich white elitists, and most of them aren't really white, which is a whole nother conversation. They may be in that certain J category, but and the movie Get Out perfectly described it. Like it would have been so typical if he just used like the conservative like rednecks out in the country or something, but the lady was like, when she was taking to meet her parents, was like, oh no, they voted for Obama, and like they're liberal, and perfectly explained the plantation mentality. But they don't seem to get it, man. They don't seem to wake up and realize that they're being played. These people aren't your friends. They're not looking out for you. Their policies aren't helping you. Another thing I hear a lot is like, oh, the minorities are waking up and, they're going to figure out here sooner or later that the left isn't for them. And it always makes me think back to when I was in high school. And this is when I first realized, like, man, these people are really on the plantation. So this is going to be like a freedom fighter political origin story. I haven't done a segment of story time in a while, so I guess we'll go back in time to this. But so back when I was in high school and we were doing like civics and stuff like that, and they were talking a lot about the election. It was going to be the first time my class was able to vote, and Obama, was on the ticket. And we were all talking about the stuff going on, but we came into class that day and there was a Venn diagram up on the board. The two circles with the two sides opinions, and the middle where they meet together and they kind of have the similar opinions. You know what a Venn diagram is. But but it wasn't listed of Republican and Democrat. And then the teacher said, well, I want you guys to think about what side you guys are on, what issues you support. And me and my friends started talking, and yeah, I guess I missed the part where I said I grew up in a pretty diverse area. Most of my friends were Hispanic or black, and um, so we got to talking, and the side where I kind of knew where I was at, I wouldn't describe myself as a Republican or Democrat either. I just kind of had like political held beliefs, but I saw the stuff that was like pro Second Amendment, strong national security, stuff like that. And I was actually a supporter of Bush back then. because of 9/11, and I was young, man. You can't blame me. So I wasn't completely aware of all the deep state corruption and all that stuff. So, I saw that smaller government, lesser taxes, and all that. And then, me and my friends saw the other side, and we ended up siding, with the Republicans. And then later on, he puts the stuff up above, the two circles and says, well, these are Democrats and these are Republicans. And then all of a sudden, all my friends, black and Hispanic majority, all of a sudden switched up. And they were like, oh, wait, those are Democrats? Well, that's who I'm voting for. I'm voting for Obama. We got to vote for Obama, right? The first black president. And I was like, well, wait, like, we all said we believe this stuff, but now that he labeled it and you know what it is, you're just siding with Obama just because it's Obama? Like, you just a minute ago, you said you didn't believe in that stuff, or you liked the other side's stuff more. Oh yeah, man, but nah, we gotta vote for Obama. And that's when I'm like, I fully realized, like, this is beyond like having debates and rational discussions. Like, they're stuck. Yeah, they're stuck on the plantation. And then I saw a video clip with Tucker. I think I watched this way back when it first aired, but he did an interview with Ice Cube. And he asked, like, why doesn't the black vote change? It's pretty much always the same. Why are they so loyal? And Tucker said, well, they tell them, they beat them over the head with, the other side hates you and they're the enemy. So they know now that the Democrats won't do anything for them. They're not going to help them out. But at least it's not those Republicans. That's all they're running on now, is at least it's not those guys. And then, they vote for the Democrats, and then they get mad, at the policies that they voted for. Some of them are waking up. I think The Rock just endorsed Trump. I can't remember if he actually endorsed Trump or just said he wasn't endorsing Biden. But then MSNBC or CNN then did a news article saying, well, there goes The Rock. He lost his black card. And I think it was Wayne Brady or Chris Rock. I think they both did a segment or a joke where they were talking about, how blacks lose their black card, or how Wayne Brady always was told he's not black enough, or he's not really a black. And it's like, it's this thing that if you don't vote Democrat, they almost shame you into it. Like, oh, well, you're not one of us. And, Charlemagne the God in that famous interview, which, I'm not a fan of his, and we're probably so politically disaligned, but I give him credit when he was, interviewing Biden, and he famously had that quote where he's like, well, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. And he pressed him. He's like, it's not about being black. And what does Biden have, telling someone else who's black and who's not? Like, that's how ridiculous it is, man. They think they literally own them, and they're like, they own the vote. And Charlemagne's been having, like, rappers and, all these people on there that have actually been saying, like, man, they go back to the hood, and the hood's for Trump. They realize, what's been going on, that these people never pay out. He had this woman on there, too. I can't even tell you who she is. I don't know if she's an actress or a female rapper or whatnot, but she was on there saying the same thing. Like, they say, oh, if Trump gets back in, it's going to be the worst times ever, and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. She was like, we're living in the worst times ever. It's already as bad as it gets. Like, there's no getting worse. Like, I mean, I guess it can get worse, but they're like, we're willing to take that chance to go back again. And I think I talked about it once before. Big Herc, who's a ex-con and runs a prison channel, stuff like that. He said, yeah, in the hood, man, there's tensions between Hispanics and blacks over all this immigration. He did a report in Chicago where they were over welfare benefits, and I think it was in Thanksgiving where he did a report where the the black population, that majority lives there, would go to the shelters and stuff, and during Thanksgiving, and go get their turkeys and their stuffing, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, all the stuff. And when they went there, there was a line, a mile long, full of new migrants. And when they got up to their turn, they said, "Sorry, no more's left. Maybe we have a box of mashed potatoes for you, but no more turkeys. No more stuffing or whatever." And they were pissed. And recently they've been saying, like, the black gangs were like, we're going to war out here. We're literally in war. Same with Aurora and, all these places, because, they've taken over. And it's basically just my rant, my ramble for the day. Let me know what you think. Are they going to wake up? Are they breaking free of the plantation? Are they breaking free of the matrix? And realizing that these Marxist communists are not in their best interest. These people are actually going to drive them further into poverty and hard times. But sadly, I don't think it will, man. Just back to that high school story. Um, I think when it's time to vote the Democrat, you know, they see it and that just calls them, to vote for them. And my opinion, man, it's really pretty much just all theater. Ain't nobody gonna save us either side. It's all going downhill. But yeah, I think when this election is said and done, you're gonna see 90-10. Blacks will vote 90-10 to the left. Hispanics will probably vote 70-30 to the left. Um, and then we'll see how much Trump pandered to them with all his stuff, and see if he actually won them over. But yeah, man, that's my little rant and ramble for today. I should be starting back up, Monday and Friday videos. Uh, if you're new here, like, share, and subscribe. And until the next one, you know what it is, man. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.